Good morning, colleagues. You are most welcome. I want to thank all those who logged in early. Fatia and Sarah Suksa who came in earlier before 9. And also other colleagues who have joined, you are most welcome. Today's session we are having teams from the Quality Assurance, from Chaplaincy, from the Health Center, as well as the library team. You are most welcome. Let us pray. Lord, we thank you for this morning. We thank you for the opportunity you've granted us. As we are going to undertake this training, we pray that you take us through well. The gadgets, the power, the internet, and the environment where we are stationed, everything to remain calm and stable till the end. We put into your hands our colleagues who are still trying to be in. You let them through so that they can come and we share together this knowledge. We've prayed believing in your Son, Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen. Today's session, we are having we are going to look at three aspects. And the first aspect, we are going to look at the access to online library or our e-resources. And then later, we shall look at the in-text citation and referencing. And then lastly, we are going to look at plagiarism. In an academic environment where we are serving, at one time or at one point, you need this information when you are either presenting a paper in a workshop, in a seminar, in a conference, but also you never know, you can wake up one day when you join teaching, and then you need to consult some of these services. That's why the opportunity is granted to all of us, even us who are not in direct teaching. So for us to access our online library, we are going to visit our homepage of the university, the website, and the moment you are there, you go straight away to the main menu where you have the library, and under the library, we go to e-resources. We have two ways of accessing these resources. One, when you are on campus, when you are using the university network, and then also when you are using your own data under MyLoft. For MyLoft access, you need to visit any of our libraries and you are registered so that you can be able to access off campus. What we require from your end is the institutional email. But right now, since we're on campus, we are going to visit the resources link. And this leads us to the different databases which we have access to. Now, the fact that our directorates or departments cut across, we may not have an opportunity to go through every quick guide, but we developed quick guides basing on the different faculties which are in the university. So for faculties, they concentrate, but for us who cut across different disciplines, for example, the Health Center, you serve every corner. Chaplaincy serves every corner. Quality Assurance does quality in every corner of the university, meaning that all these quick guides will be important to you. But for example, we have the one for education and humanities, and we've categorized them in such a way that you can be able to know the ones which are for ebooks. For example, here we have OUP, the Oxford University Press, EBSCOhost, Taylor and Francis, those are ebooks. And then also we have the e-journal articles databases as well. When you go to Faculty of Earth Sciences, where majorly our members from the Earth Center may be much interested because it's more of a science, earth science. So we have OUP and then also other e-journal article databases you can be able to navigate. Then, since quality deals with management and other disciplines, however much it cuts across, but you can also utilize the quick reference which we organized for the Faculty of Business and Management, Business Administration and Management, Now, these databases, we share them depending on the discipline, because when you look at the ebooks which we have under business administration and management, you appreciate that the same databases for ebooks are the same databases which are used by our colleagues in education and humanities. Now, the ebook databases, we don't have many, but those which we have, they have a lot of information which you can be able to utilize. So right now, we are going to first have a demonstration of the ebook databases, and we shall start with EBSCOhost. Then later, we shall look at Taylor and Francis and the OUP. So to start with EBSCO, EBSCO has a search box where you can search for articles, for books, journals, and more, even dissertations. For institutions which have accepted their dissertations to be accessed internationally for their students, EBSCO has had an MOU with such universities, and you can also be able to access the dissertations here. So under EBSCO, we have also access to journal articles. That's why you see such articles. But right now, we are going to concentrate on the books. We can just have a hint on how you can access articles. So for example, if I'm looking for a material on human anatomy, you know this one falls under the 8th center, human anatomy and the physiology, for example. If that is the item I'm looking for, the database is able to give me 2,738 results. And some of these are ebooks, some are journal articles. Now there is what we call filtering. So when you come to source type, you can filter. If you only need books, you select only ebooks, and then you apply. So the database has 542 books on human anatomy and physiology, and these are the books they have. For example, the second book here was published in 2023. There's one for 2025, 2016, and so 2024. So then you can also select the date. Now for books, don't select past 12 months because you'll not be able to access anything, but at least 5 years or 10 years and more, or you can range and give a range of the period, and then you can be in position to get within that range. Then we advise you is to select full text so that the database can filter on what we have access to. So previously it has been giving us 542, but now it's 541. Mean there was one book which we had no access to. The rest we have access to them based on our search strategy. You can continue with the filtering. The moment you click on all filter, it will give you more on how you can be able to filter. You can also filter by publication date. You can filter by subject. For example, since we are looking at human anatomy and physiology, they'll break it down. Are we looking at human evolution, human physiology, anatomy alone, human anatomy, brain evolution? And when you click on more, it will break it down, and that totals up to the 541 results which we are having. Are you looking at bones? Are you looking at bone diseases, bone physiology? Are you looking at dead? And so on. Gastrointestinal systems, physiology, there are 4 books there. Hearing, physiological aspects, histology, human anatomy, problem, exercise, and so on. So the database will go down and break it down. And if you need a specific item here, you select it and then you update your search. So to go back, we can come here, and then, for example, if you need access to this book, Anatomy and Human Physiology Handbook for Biomedical Engineers, I'll just go to Access, and the database will open the book with its cover page, and then also the chapters on the left-hand side rather than the right-hand side, so you can be in position to download chapter by chapter. But also, if I need to download a full book, I'll go to the icon for full download, but I can also share. And since this is a book, you create a link and then you copy it to the clipboard. Then this link, you share it with your colleagues. Then you can also pick up the citation. By default, it will cite by APA, but you can choose amongst other options of styles which EBSCO provides. Now, when we go to download the book, to open up a page here where you can be able to access only chapters, you select the chapters of your interest if you know them. If you need a full book, you go to full book. Now they are telling us, please sign into your my EBSCO account to check availability and download a full book. So for books, some of the books in EBSCO, we are supposed to borrow them by signing up. So when you click on sign up and it displays a page of this nature, sign in with Google. You click on sign in with Google and then you select your personal Gmail account. So then it will pop you to sign in if your email is not signed in. If it's already signed in, we shall go back here and then you'll be responsible to borrow this book. Maximum, they give us 84 days. So you can choose the number of days of your interest. For example, if I say maybe 30 days, I'll select the 30 days. However, I should have Adobe Dictate Editions, and this is software which you can be able to use on your computer. If you have an Apple machine, you use the Macintosh version. If you have a Windows, use the Windows version. And if you have any challenge to do the installation, you can seek assistance from our Digits team at both campuses. They have their offices there, or you can find one of the team members in the labs if you're near the labs. Then you can also download the Adobe Dictate Editions on your App Store for iPhones, and then for Android under your Google Play Store. So after doing the installation, then you'll be able to download the book and utilize it offline. So they are giving me a notice here that your download will be available for 4 weeks, 1 day, 23 hours and 59 minutes, meaning that they've already started counting. I have access to this book for these weeks because I selected 30 days, and that is how they've counted it. So I'm eligible now to utilize this book. So after that, you go to your downloads and then you just double click on the download and then it will open up in the Adobe Dictate Editions platform, which is a reader for these ebooks, and then it will start downloading the book. Now at this stage, when it's downloading and you get an error message, that will mean that your bandwidth, your internet is very slow and you need to work it out so that you can be able to download the book. However, if you fail on day one, you can be able to repeat it the next day, but the number of days will not be increased. They will be reduced because already the system has registered that you borrowed the book. Whether you are reading it or not, you've already borrowed the material. So on my page here, on my library account, I have some books which expired, and then there are those which are having few days, 11 days, 28 days, 25 days to expire, and then others are expired. For the expired, what you do, you have to go back to EBSCO host and download the similar items of your interest. So our book on anatomy and human physiology, it is here. And on our left-hand side of the page where we have table of content, you just click on the drop-down and then to display the different chapters. So if I'm looking at a specific chapter, I don't need to scroll down within the book, but I can be able to move chapter by chapter. On the right hand side, we have the icon for change page view. You can change it to actual size. You can zoom it depending on your side so that you are able to read properly the information. So when you click back to the library, our book is here, and we can be able to access it until the expiry of the 30 days, which we made choice of. So that is how you can be able to access the ebooks under EBSCO. But you can also download a chapter, and for a chapter, you'll get it as a full PDF, and you don't need to borrow it. So in case you are interested in not borrowing, but to have the whole book, you have to go download chapter by chapter. For example, chapter 1 is here. We've downloaded it as a PDF, so this one we can have it forever and ever. However, you are advised that these you've downloaded should be used basically for academic and research, not for any commercial use, because as academic institutions, the copyright rights allows us to have fair use of these materials, basically for our research and class assessment. When we go back to EBSCO again, we can be able still to access articles. We can use the same search strategy, and then we can, all this time around, let's use it's a quality assurance. In higher education. And this time around, we are going to do, they are giving us 2000 plus, but let's already straight away select journal articles, apply. And then for articles, you can select peer reviewed. We can say peer reviewed. That is still filtering. So we have access to 1604 results. And then we can continue filtering by subject type. Are you looking at it for educational quality, foreign, higher education? If it's higher education, we select higher education, and then select also educational quality and apply. So we shall have the 701 results. And for these, you can be able to download a PDF. So they are taking us to ERIC. ERIC is another database within EBSCO. So the moment you visit, they will show you download the full text. And then you click on full text PDF, and then you are able to download these articles. It's still online. Then you can have it offline and save it either on your desktop or where you are interested. So some applies here, and download it and save it. Then you can also filter by date. You can say you need for the last 12 months. So the database will filter, and we have only 7 results. Why? Remember, we eliminated to higher education and educational quality. So for the last 12 months, there are 70 articles. So, and we have access to them. Some we don't. Let's select full text. Okay. So you can imagine when we have access to one article because of our limitation. So if you don't want to limit, you can go back and try to broaden the scope of your search strategy. So that is EBSCO. Now, let us look at Taylor and Francis ebooks. So for Taylor and Francis, you can still do the search by keywords, by authors, by title, by international standard book number if you know. But here we are going now to browse. and we can browse by subject. So when you go by subject, you'll appreciate that we have a number of subjects here, but you will not find a specific subject on quality assurance. But also, if you are looking for something on chaplaincy, you may not find it directly here, but you'll be able to find a number of different materials of your interest. Now, the moment you browse and you don't find exactly what you want, then you can search. For example, we can say university evangelism plus undergraduates, and then we search. The database can either give us results or it will give us no results. So under evangelism, they're giving us 3,455 results. However, we have to filter on the content we have access to. So we have access to 162 books. So the books, and then if you need to access, you can also first check the abstract. This book was published in 2022. You can go by subject. You can view by subject. You are looking at evangelism in what context. So they will break it down depending on what you are interested in. And then if you need this specific book, you can open it in another new tab. And then so that the journalist, if you still need access to it, you leave it open. And then when you come here, every book has what we call a digital object identifier. And then for Taylor and Francis, you'll be in position to download chapter by chapter. For example, if I'm looking at interdisciplinarity, I'll go here and download this chapter. Or you can first read the abstract and find out whether it will make sense to you. Okay. So this is the chapter. You can be in position to share it by copying the link and share it with the colleagues. Then you can also download the PDF because it's still online. And then you'll have your chapter off here. So if you need a whole book, it will be the same process to go back and download every chapter separately. That's how you can be able to access Taylor and Francis materials, either by subject search, browsing, or it can be by search. Then Oxford Scholarship, it also has different subjects. So when you go to Arts and Humanities, you'll find there a region. And when you go to the region, for colleagues who are coming from Chaplaincy, you can see all this history of the region and education, new religious movements, religion and gender, religion and the law, religion and science, because the religion cuts across. That's why there are a number of other subjects here which are connected to it. For example, if I'm looking at religion and gender, I'll find the books here, and they have 123 books. However, I'll first check modify by full text and then also content I have access to, so that I'm sure that all the books or chapters which display here, I have access to them. So you have access to 122 materials here. And some of these are chapters, some are book parts, and where it's a full book, they'll indicate for you. For example, here is a full book. If I would like to look at it, and open it here still. So this book, I can be able to share via these social media platforms, but also via email. Then the chapters are here. So if you need a specific chapter, for example, the birth of a female child, and then the book has different parts. There's a part on marriage, motherhood, interlude, mortality, and so on. So I will have my chapter here online, and it has its DOI. If I would like to share it, I'll just copy this DOI and share it with colleagues. Or I'll go under share and select one of these social media platforms or the email. If I would like to have it offline, I'll just click on PDF and the chapter will be downloaded. So here's my chapter, and then I'll pick it and have it offline as well. So if I need the whole book, that will be the same procedure to navigate through and get the whole book of my interest. For colleagues who are in the Earth Center, we have a lot here: allied earth professions, there are materials here, dietetics and nutrition, orthopedics, radiography, physiotherapy, and that is, if you go back here, clinical medicine is also having different subjects here. So the moment neurology, it has clinical neurophysiology, psychiatric. When you go to public health and epidemiology, you'll find the epidemiology separate and public health separate. Pharmacology, you'll find there psychopharmacology as well. So they break it down. Preclinical medicine. So if I'm looking at something on reproduction, growth, and development, I have access to 91 books and chapters, but I'll select full text and content I have access to. So the database is having 4 books and 75 chapters as far as this subject is concerned. If I'm interested in books, I'll select books and they will display only the 4 books which are available. Contraception, a user's guide, that is what I'm looking for. It was published in 2000. So I'll be able to look at the book. It has different chapters, and then you'll be able to download chapter by chapter. There are 15 of them, and then you'll be able to download one by one and then take a reading. So that's how you can be able to also navigate through Oxford Scholarship. Before we end this first part, let us go back to our homepage of the databases and now look at some which are journal articles. For example, Taylor and Francis has ebooks, but it also has journal articles. We have Hinari, which is supported by WHO. It also has a number of materials. When we visit Wide Online Library, it also has. Then we have the Brutus Journal collection. So when we look at Taylor and Francis, journal articles now, not ebooks. So there is a difference. The supply is the same, but they separated the platforms. Now this one is basically for articles. And on their home page, that's where you can be able to navigate the different subjects which they have. And then you can just put your search here. For example, if I'm looking for information on spiritual growth under youth. So that is my search. I have access to 147,977 results. However, I can filter on what I have access to. And the database will filter. So it is showing the search results. It's unable, could be a network issue. So I'm being advised to filter or refine or improve the search. Let me see. First look at it in general. Spiritual growth alone. Let me see. So when I search in general, they're giving me 600, 2000. Let me refine and see whether it can break it down. So they are giving me 396,832. Then you can go to the left-hand side and filter by subject. If you're looking at it in terms of what? In terms of humanities, where you say plus sign, it will continue breaking it down. Working. And it's failing to break it down. Could be a network issue. But usually, the moment you see a plus sign, which is active, not faint, it means it will break the major subjects into more small segments. And then you can be able to read the abstract. And if you need a full text, you can open up and have access to the full text. So the full article will be here online and be able to read it online. Then they'll highlight for you your major subjects. Then if you need it offline, you click on view PDF, and then you are able to get access to the PDF. The article also has the DOI, which you can share, or you can go to the share button and share the material. Okay. So what Taylor and Francis will do will also give you a favor of the materials which are nearer to your article, which other people have accessed, and it's up to you to divert and look at them or just ignore. So our article is here, it is still online, so you can be able to download it as PDF, and then we shall have it offline. So it's downloading, and here is our article from the Journal of Religion, Spirituality and Aging. And that's the article which we've been able to download. It was published in 2025. So that's how you can be able to access articles as well. The same when we visit Wiley, and for Wiley you'll also be able to navigate by subject. There's a number of subjects here. Humanities, you'll find religion and theology there. Nursing, dentistry, and healthcare. You still find for this we're accessing only articles. Psychology, applied psychology, clinical psychology, cognitive psychology, developmental psychology, education and school psychology. So depending personality and individual differences, psychotherapy and counseling. So under psychotherapy and counseling, we have this much, and where you see full access, it means you can be able to download. What we've done is to browse by different subjects. So when you go to religion and theology, you'll find a number of subjects here, and you can make a choice of a specific subject of interest, or you can go by this long list and keep on checking what you are interested in. Nutrition and dietetics, you can be able to visit the specific topics, and then you have access to those materials, or where you see the most recent articles which are published. For example, this one was published on 16th March, which was yesterday, 2026. It's very new. The same applies to the second one, the third, and the fourth. All these were published yesterday. So they are new articles. So you can be able to get latest materials as your need arises. So the moment you click on open a PDF, if you click on full text, it will open online, and then you'll be able to read it online. But the moment you click on PDF, then you'll get a PDF version of that particular item. Still loading. So our article is here, published under Wiley. So it is online. Then you can be able to download it and have it offline. And here it is. Under the International Journal of Applied Psychoanalytic Studies. Okay. So that is about the journal articles. That's how we can be able to access them. The same applies with the degruters. You can be able to search and find out the materials of your interest. It also has a number of articles, but it also hosts books. So we have access to some few books under the Grutter's journal. So that's how you can be able to access the online library. And those are some of the databases which you can visit. So right now, if there is any question, please you can ask if there is anyone with a question before we can have a commercial break of 5 minutes, and then we shall switch to the second module. So for those who have who joined later, I request you to register. We already shared the link for registration, but we can share it again so that you can register for your attendance. So keep on, don't leave. In the next 5 minutes, we shall return and then we'll continue from there. In the meantime, you can please register. Thank you.
Librarian, I have a question.
Let us continue. And now we are going to look at Mendeley, which is an in-text and referencing tool. It's a free software. So Mendeley is a reference manager used to generate citations and bibliographies in Microsoft Word. You can only use it in Word. It is an academic social network that helps researchers to organize their research, share and discover papers, and collaborate with others. Its main goals are three. One is to organize your references. Secondly, collaborating with others. And then also discovering new research. It can also be used to annotate your PDF files and also organizing your reference library. As I said earlier, it's a free software which is available across different platforms. So we are going to look at how the product works, what it looks like, and how we might use it. The first thing you need to understand or to do is to create an account, a Mendeley account. So you go to mendeley.com. We are going to visit the online page, and then you shall have to create accounts. When you are creating account, the information which they need from your end is your first name, your last name, your email, and then the password. It is completely free. There is no any fund attached, and you can do it in few seconds because you need an online account so that you can be able to even download and install what we call a Mendeley desktop. So we are saying that a Mendeley desktop offers a complete Mendeley experience. It allows you to build, maintain, and order your personal library. In other words, we are going to create our personal libraries where you will also be able to read within, but also apply other writing functions. So the moment you open the Mendeley desktop, you need to log in your Mendeley account. The online account which you are going to create online, the same credentials are the same you need when you are offline. So the setup of your personal library will look like this. This is just a screenshot, but we are going to see exactly how it works. And then within there, we have also what we call the Mendeley Web Importer. So we are going to be able to import items from some of the databases we've been looking at, and then we import these materials into our Mendeley account. So the Web Importer allows you to import articles within one click, import PDFs when they are available, also import a batch of items at a shortest period of time. Then it works hand with a PDF version materials, so you'll be able to do highlights and also annotate your documents. And Mendeley has a rainbow of different colors, which you can be able to play around with and keep on changing depending on your interest. Okay. Then we shall also be able to do the Mendeley citation plugin for Microsoft Word, so that Microsoft Word can be able to work with Mendeley and do the in-text citation and the referencing. So in general, during the site, we are able to do the in-text citation, to merge citations, to insert bibliographies, and also find different citation styles. Thank you. So now we are going to move to the practical part of it, and we visit our browser. And the first step is to go to mendeley.com and create accounts. So the moment you visit a page of this nature, so that is the Mendeley account link. So the moment you go to Mendeley, you click on sign in, and as a first time person who has never used it, it will display a page where you have to insert your email, your names, and password. If you are a regular user, it will straight away take you into your email, as it has indicated on my screen. So I'll just log in. If you don't have an account, you have to create one. And then you sign in. So after signing in, our concentration is going to be basically on our library. And our library here mine is populated because it's a training page, but now when we go to the left-hand side of the page, we have what we call collections. So in case I click on create a collection, you can say, for example, Earth Center. So the moment I create that, I can create another one and name it Chaplaincy. You can have another one and name it Data Assurance. So those are the three collections I've created, but the moment you click on Earth Center, there is nothing. Chaplaincy, there is nothing. White Assurance, there is nothing. But within Chaplaincy, I can create a new sub-collection and name it Outreaches. You can still create there into hours. When I go to Earth Center, I can create board on first aid support. You can still create another one and call it counseling. When I go to Quiet Assurance, I can do the same. Do A on e-learning. You can create another one. Do A student welfare. Just like that. So all these folders, there is nothing. So we've created the different collections here, but we have now to populate them with our materials. So now we shall open another new tab, and now we are going to do the Mendeley Web Importer. So we shall go to our browser and say Mendeley Web Importer. If you are using Chrome, it will pop you Chrome. If you are using Microsoft Edge, Safari, for those who are using Apple machines, or Firefox, and then I'll open it. Mendeley Web Importer, add to Chrome, because this is an extension. So I'll add it. Click on add to give me a page of this nature. Add extension. If you cancel, it means you're not interested. I'll add. And in the far right hand corner, where we have the different tools, you can see Mendeley Web Importer has been added to Chrome. I'll close it. However, it has to be pinned, and we have the icon there for extensions. So I'll pin it, and then the Mendeley Web Importer has been added. Remember, my account is still open. So I'll go now to the e-resources, and I would advise you that if you need to import, you better import journal articles. For the books, you might fail to get to import books because they are heavier, and for them you have to first download them offline and then upload them as well on your Mendeley account. So when we come here and we search for children children's counseling or counseling among children, they are giving us 4,000. We are going to filter only articles, and then we shall filter full text. So we have access to 742 articles, and among these we can say we need peer reviewed only, and the peer reviewed are 723. So when our page is still active, we shall go to the Mendeley icon, click on it, and it will take us to open our Mendeley account page. So unfortunately, it's unable to fetch whatever items here because they are not directly PDF. They are taking us to other options. So that's why it can't fetch. And if I want them, I'll have to first download them as PDFs and upload them. So I can use another database with the same search, for example, Taylor and Francis. Or you can also use Google Scholar. So Google Scholar also works because Google Scholar fetches these materials from these similar databases we have access to. So let me go to Taylor and Francis and see and filter. Open. So if I use Hinari, search for the same results, they're giving me 62 results. So I can import and sort, mainly can import from there. Remember, my search is on children's counseling. So I'll select only the ones which are having PDF, which the database has been able to identify as PDFs. And the rest which are not PDFs, I will not download them. So some items it has not been able to find the PDFs. Then I'll come to my library here and then move down and select Earth Center. And then under Earth Center, I'll select the collection for counseling because that's where my items are supposed to go, and then I'll add. So the mainly web importer is able to import, for example, the reference, but it's unable to import the PDF for some articles. For example, here it has not been able to import the PDF, and then to some it has been able. So after that, I'll go to my account and check with the Earth Facility, Earth Center collection and click on counseling. So my items are there, and then the ones which have been able to download as PDF, you can see the blue icon. I can double click and then I can be able to read the PDF from here. On the right hand side, it gives you the bibliographic information of the article or the details of the article. And then the article is here. We talked about the rainbow colors, they are here. By default, it is yellow. So you can choose to highlight. You can choose to change the color. Okay. So when I decide to go back, I cannot, the ones which have not been able to download as PDFs, I will not be able to have a reading on them online. So that's how you can be able to access even these materials within your account. Then the ones which were unable to import, you are supposed to go to the database and download them manually, and then I'll show you how you can be in position to add them on here. So now after that online business, now we are going to download mainly desktop. So and we are currently on the version of 1.19.8. That's the current version. I've shared it in the chat. can pick it up from there. So here, when you come here, they'll give you the different systems recommended for Windows. Mac OS is for the Apples. Ubuntu 32-bit, Ubuntu 64-bit, Linux 32, and then 64-bit. So you can do the installation. If you have a challenge, you can visit our Digits team. They can assist you to do the installation. You make sure that you have the admin rights of the computer you are using so that you are able to do the installation. So after doing the installation, this is what happens. You'll have a page of this nature for welcome to Mendeley Desktop. Remember our online account created. We pick all the credentials there and then log in here. Without changing any character. If it's your personal computer, you can stay signed in. So the moment you open the page, it will give you the back end page for Mendeley, and then also a page where you have citation plugin for Microsoft Word. You click on the blue button, install now. So we have installed the plugins, and then you close. And then they are telling us that you can add and create, whereby you can import documents into your Mendeley account. We've already done the importation. And here we have the local and the cloud. So Mendeley Desktop is your local, and Mendeley Cloud is the online account where we've been. Go to next, and then close. So this is our page. And when we go to the folders we've just created, under Chaplaincy, we created community hour, we created outreach. There is nothing because we've not uploaded anything. When we go to quality assurance, e-learning, student welfare, there is nothing. When you go to the health center counseling, we have some materials there. And then first aid, there is nothing. So it is still loading so that all the PDFs are added here. If I want to add something on quality assurance under e-learning, I'll make sure that I click on that folder, and in the middle panel, it's the one displayed. I'll come add files. So I'll check on my desktop. I have some items which I can be in position to upload. Okay. So I need to upload something on community hour. I'll do the same. So as we do it here, the database, rather the Mendeley Desktop, is filtering. And the moment we check our online account, we'll appreciate that we have something now on community hour. Let's go back here, our online account, community hour, and refresh. It has not yet, still loading. They are not yet reflected. Okay, it's still loading. That's why we're not able to view anything the other side. So after finishing up the loading, then they'll be reflected the other side. So after this, when we go to files, I talked about adding files. You can also add folders. You can also add entry manually. For the print materials we have in the library, you can add bills, books. Book section are the same as book chapters, programs. And the moment you click on the book, the template is slightly different if someone wants to enter, for example, a statute. So the template keeps on changing depending on what you want to upload. However, for you to add any file, you have to make sure that you've chosen a folder where it's going to be inserted. You can edit, you can view. When you go to view, we have the citation styles. By default, it picks APA, but if you need more styles, you can click on more styles and then you pick a citation style of your choice. Then we have tools. Install web importer, we've already installed that. Uninstall MS Word plugin, we don't need it too, we've installed it. Get mainly site, it takes you back to the online page. Check for duplicates, it will check whether you have materials there which you've entered more than once. And then help. Now, after doing that, we open up our Word document. When you open a Word document, we assume we are working on a particular assignment. And then we would like to cite. You put your cursor where you would like your citation to appear. And then you go to references. You'll see the insert citation icon. You click on it. If you are sure of the author, you search by author, you search by title or year. If you are not so sure, you click on go to Mendeley. So it will take you here and then you select the citations of your choice and you click on the icon above cite. So the database has already done the in-text citation there. We'll go to another paragraph, do the same. For example, here the materials could be under Health Center and counseling. So I'll select the item and then click on cite. I'll go to another paragraph. And this time round, I want to be more specific, including even the page numbers. For example, I have Copeland and Eckert. So if I want to use those, I'll go to my work here, click insert, and search for Copeland, and then also Eckert. Then I'll go to Copeland, click in the author surname, and say maybe page 29 to 31. And then Eckert the same, page 2 maybe page 6. And then you click on OK button. So it will recite including the pages. Then we shall go to the references to generate our reference list. And we'll come back up here under references and click on insert bibliography. It is only going to insert what we've cited in the content, and it will organize it alphabetically. If we move to another chapter or paragraph, it will be the same. You can pick. So it will automatically update the reference list. So within the working document, you click on insert bibliography once. Don't keep on clicking on it because it will reduplicate the reference list. So that's how you can be able to use Mendeley to do the in-text citation and referencing. But to note, you are the one to populate that library of the materials you are going to use in your work. So if this is a working document, we can continue doing our work as we pick the citations wherever they are. Okay. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. If there is no any question and things are okay, we can now have another 5 minutes commercial break before we look at the last module or segment of this training. But if you have a question, feel free to unmute yourself, or you can type in the chat so that we can respond accordingly. Thank you. 5 minutes and we return. Let us resume. Our 5 minutes break have elapsed. We are going to look at the last module, and this is the plagiarism checker. The university subscribes to Drillbit, which is a plagiarism checker, but it also checks for the similarity of AI, the grammar, as well as plagiarism. So if you'd like to visit the page, I've shared the link in the chat. So the moment you reach at this page, you go to Get Started, where you select Institutional Login. So you need to have a university email address to have access to this platform. However, I'll first take you to the administrative site for you to appreciate, but also to understand that the services the university provides, some of them are underutilized, and yet a lot of money is being injected in. So now we have this page, it's our admin page, which generates for us reports on daily basis about usage, about how many students are registered, about how many lecturers or instructors are registered. And when we talk about instructors, you may be in QA, but you are assisting students in research. You can also have an account. You could be in chaplaincy, because chaplaincy also has a team which teaches. So you also need to have an account as an instructor, because we only create accounts for instructors, and then it's the instructors to create accounts for the students of their respective groups. So when we are here, the university paid for 300 licenses for lecturers, but for our whole year, only 29 have been utilized, or who registered, there are 29, not usage. Then the student, there were 400, and not even 1% registered. So then when we go down here, the database will show us its validated dates. In remaining only 8 days, the system will be off. So we're in the process of renewal with our Digits team. Then they are giving us the trend of the submissions. And so far, the works which have been submitted, 93% is generated by our own people, and 7% is the similarity. When we go by document types, there are other documents which have been submitted: project works, assignments, articles, dissertations, thesis, and research papers. When we go by department, for it to look at it in terms of departments, you'll appreciate that some of the departments are not in. They've never registered. So when you look at QA, they've used it for 4 documents. When you go to computing department, it has 156 results. Library has 40, others, and so on. So these reports, we can be able to access them. Now, let me switch to an instructor's account, because that is where our major business is. So when we go to the instructor's account, your page will be completely empty without any class. What we call a class is the course unit someone is teaching, or the support you are rendering to the researchers, especially students who are in their final year or final semester or second last semester. So when we go to the blue button on the bottom right, we can be able to create a class. For example, I can create a class on counseling psychology. and then I'll put it to maybe year 3, semester 2, and our semester is running until end of May. Then I'll create. So if this is my course unit, which Drillbit calls a class, as an instructor, there are 2 options. 1 is to create an assignment, 2 is to register students. You go back to the blue button in the right-hand side corner in the bottom, and to give you options. Add a list, add multiple students, add a student. So when you go to add multiple student, you'll be given a template. You can download a template which you can feed in the student numbers, the student details, and this has the student name, email address, ID, department, section, phone number. So you feed in that info, save it, and then you upload it. Browse your file and upload it. If you've not done so, you can go back. If you have few students, you add every student by name, email, ID, department, section, and then add. Then after that, we'll go to what we call the assignment. Students will have to submit work. You go to create, and you create an assignment, big group assignment, and you'd like them to start submitting today, and you're giving them maybe a full month. So the deadline will be on the 17th of April. And then if you have instructions, you can choose a file and upload the instructions for the assignment. The most important part is also here at assignment settings. How would you like the system to check for similarity, to check for AI, and even the grammar? You come allow assignment grading. No, if you don't want the gradings, because the moment you say yes, you have to set a pass mark. Then exclude bibliographies. That is if you don't want the database to filter the reference list, to filter the quotes, to filter the small sources, then you can say yes. But you can leave it at no, it's going to check them all. Save to repository. This one you have to be careful, because the moment you save to the repository, it means that the work will be kept there, and the next time when somebody works on the similar submission, it will reflect. So allow resubmission. After the deadline, if you want them to resubmit, you can set the number of days. Allow submission after date due or after the due date. They could be students who may have had issues. Maybe they had the problems with the fees, or they had problems with they were sick and they are unable to submit on time. You can give them extra days. You can give them extra days. That is if they will not abuse it, because sometimes they abuse. And then choice of email notification. If you say yes, it means the students will be notified of their submissions. You can add questions. You can exclude phrases. You can viewing of similarity percentage and report yes, because that's what you want. Then on daily submission, because whenever they submit, they check whether the work has problems, and then they make changes and resubmit again. So how many times would you like them to check in and check out before they submit the final work? Then compare against databases, and among these their student papers, their journal and publishers. Those are the ones we've looked at first today. Internet and web sources, institution repository. So it will filter checking through all these, and then you click on submit button. So the assignment is here. So this is what the student will be able to view, and then they will go to upload files. If it's not in English, maybe Arabic, like our students from Southern Sudan, or from Congo, it's in French. If it's in English, you select English and then you upload a file. Okay. If I upload a file, I put the file name, and then also I put the title, select the type, it's an assignment, and submit for checking. So the database will give us 3 reports, the one for similarity, the AI, and the grammar. So every student will only be able to view his or her own work, but for you as an instructor, for example, if I go to all classes as an instructor, let me check something here. For example, as an instructor, I'll be able to view all my students. If all these are my students who have submitted as an instructor, I'll be able to view all this. But for them as students, they'll only be able to view only their personal work. So this weather. Let's go back here. It's still loading. So when it finishes loading, to give us the percentages here, will be displayed. So the system is not a judge, it's not a tribunal, an academic tribunal, but it guides the instructor or the supervisor or the lecturer to make sure that the student focuses and doesn't just copy work from elsewhere and takes it as his or hers, especially work which is submitted without citations. So you can't tell where the student picked that information from. So even us, as we write papers which are going to be published in conferences we hope to attend, or you would like to publish in our interdisciplinary journal, because you are aware the university has a journal, and you'd like to submit there, you don't want to be ashamed, because the moment you submit your paper, it is subjected to plagiarism check. And when they check it and they find out that it has higher percentages, that will be a great shame to your end. Even if you are not in direct teaching, but you've involved yourself, we expect you to do the right thing. So you can use the platform to check your personal articles or workshop papers or conference papers you hope to attend, because wherever you are going to present, if they are to publish, your work will be subjected to similarity check. So that's why we have this service as a university, to support all of us when we are carrying out research elsewhere. So you can see it has given us the similarity, it's 4%. And ideally, for your information, if the work is for an undergraduate, anything below 30 will be accepted. For masters, anything below 20 will be accepted. And then for PhD, it should be 10% and below. However, there is a disclaimer that it shouldn't be below 6% at all levels. So when you are going to publish in a journal or you are going to publish in a conference, they may have their own standards. But ideally, globally, in higher institutions of learning, those are the standards, though some institutions put in some free, I call them free percentages, whereby undergraduates can be raised up to 35, masters 25, PhD 15, but ideally it is 10, 20, 30. So now, since it has given us this report, you come here and just click on the percentage, which will open in a new tab to upload the PDF here, and then you'll be able to see the similarity in different colors. So this is an article, and this is what they are able to filter. They are showing you that it is a 4%, and they are giving you summary of the sources. Some are internet data, some are journal publications, and then we have what we call satisfactory, which is 0 to 10, and this paper lies under that. Upgrade, 11 to 40, poor, 41 to 60, unacceptable, 61 to 100. Some writers submit work when it is between 61 and 100, and then you wonder. So then now when you are here, you can be able to download a report, a PDF report, which will give you still the same detailed info. And then you can also download you can also be in position to download a summary report. So this is a full report. It shows you the percentages, and then it goes down to break it down that the work matches with the 21 sources, but they all cover only 4%. So they will put you the upgrade summary here on your report, as well as if you need just a receipt, you'll also get it. So the AI score sometimes takes time, and then the grammar quality. So that's how you can be able to access and also utilize Drillbit for plagiarism check. I would like to end our session here. Thank you so much for staying on for the last 2 hours. And if you have any question or any addition, this is the right time for you to share. You can either unmute yourself or you can type in the chat before we call this to an end. Thank you. Okay, seems we are okay. I want to wish you a good day, and thank you so much for attending. God bless you all. Bye.